MMG. Today I have been I don't know why this weekend and why today I'm wanting to talk about dating, but that's on my mind. Thank you guys for tuning in. I was on live earlier. I talked a little bit about it, and I just want to share this with you all. Can I be real? Can I be really real with you guys? First of all, I am happily single, but I want to date. I want to date. I want to date a few men at once. All right? Not sleep with, date. Go out with, have fun, whatever, right? Come on in, guys. Come on in. Thank you for hitting the like button when you come on in. What's up, K Mizzo? How are you doing this weekend? I'm going to talk about why I might not be dating black men anymore. So I know I'm about to ruffle a few feathers, but that's what it is. That's just what it is. You're doing good, K Money. That's great. I'm doing good. Um, I'm hot. It's like 103 where I'm at, so it's a little hot. I got my fan blowing really loud. Let me know if you're having a problem hearing me. Um, Replay gang, thanks for tuning in. After I know I'm gonna get a lot of you replaying this one. I should have my camera on for real, but I'm hot and I'm chilling right now. So it is what it is. But the conversation would be great for you to listen to now and listen to later. I love when you guys are actually here during the live and tuning in because that just helps it to go so much better, right? You guys engage, you can ask questions, we can have back and forth banter. You feel me, K Money? You feel me? So, yes, with that being said, um, today's topic is why I am no longer dating black men. Okay, and here is why. I've dated only black men my entire life, except for a couple of occasions. I think my first kiss was with this white boy. His name was Stuart. He looked just like Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block. And he was cute. Me and all my friends thought he was super cute. I don't know why he wanted to kiss me though. I was in middle school. I think he was a couple of grades older than me, and he liked me. So I was like, okay, so we kissed that one time, and that was it. We never kissed anymore. You know how kids do. And I think that was it. That was my brief foray into the jungle fever, right? But that was it. After that, I pretty much knew that all my life that I was just attracted to black men. I love my black men. I'm not even going to front. I just love everything about a black man. My children have a black father. I don't know. I love being black and I love my black men. Okay. However, I haven't had the best of luck with black men. And that pains me to say because I can't stand when a black man says, "Oh, I don't like black women. They're too domineering. They're not feminine. They don't want to submit, or they are always angry or always combative." I hate that. I hate when I hear black men say that they don't date black women and give all these list of reasons why. Or they'll say this one. This is my favorite one that black men say. Oh, it's just about preference. I just prefer to date women who look this way. I just prefer that. I'm not attracted to black women, right? Well, I'll say this. I am very much attracted to black men. I find them very attractive. I just, I find them very manly. I just love everything about dating a black man or being with a black man. We can relate to one another. I just love their swag, right? Not every black man has swag, but the ones I date, the ones I deal with, the ones I chill with, got swag. guys, when you come in, thank you for coming in, first of all. When you come in, though, don't be rude. Say what's up so I can say hi back and hit the like button. If you're watching on the replay, comment too so I can uh, thank you for watching. But again, I like everything about black men, and I just like everything about them. And to me, I would rather date black men. That's who I prefer to date. But there, black men have made it very difficult for me to remain loyal and faithful to them. Here's why. Uh, Black men in my age group, I find that they tend to want to date younger women. I can't change my age. I can't change that, right? So no matter how I look, when I stand next to, even if I lost weight, no, for me, there are some women who look very, very good for their age, and you can't tell how old they are, right? Some women are 50 years old and they look 30. They look good. But that's when they're standing by themselves. When they stand next to a 20-year-old, you know who's the younger one. A 20-year-old just has this dancing in her eyes. She's not jaded. She just has a way about her that's way different than a 40 or 50-year-old woman. And number one, she's more malleable, right? There are a lot of women who are bimbos at 50 years old. It's like they haven't learned anything. They just been going through life, going through one thing after the other. They haven't learned a thing. They still have bad relationships with men. They don't ever learn from their mistakes, right? And that's not saying that every relationship is going to last or work out a certain way, but you shouldn't be getting into relationships with men getting dog walked. You should be able to, at 50 years old, meet like minded individuals who you are dating and who are pursuing you and who really want to take things further with you. Or if it doesn't get to that point, you should at least be seasoned enough to be able to make friends with members of the opposite sex, right? It shouldn't always be you crashing out or you're depressed because you got played again. At 50 years old, I wish I would get played. I know what I want. I know what type of man I want. I know how I want to be treated. And that's just what it is, right? So if that's not happening, then I'm going to move on. A 20-year-old might go for the okey doke. She might go for the blase blase. Me two times. Elevate. How are you? Thanks for tuning in to hang out with me. Um, Me two times. Where are you chatting with me from? I like to know where people are chatting from. It just helps me to get to know you a little bit better. So yes, I think that's one reason why men, I I might have a harder time dating men in my age bracket. They may want a younger woman. Number one, number two, um, they don't have money. They don't have money to date. They're brokies. Maybe they just are getting by things that I want to do. Maybe they can't afford, right? So that's gonna take you out of pocket. If you don't believe in God, if you're not a Christian, that's gonna take you out of the running for to date me. Um, a lot of guys at my age are already married and settled down, so they're not available, right? Or they may be, maybe they're gay, maybe they're drug addicts. I don't know. It's a list of things. And then the number one reason, they don't have respect for women or they want to date other women. I'm not cool with that. uh, Dating, for sure, is fine by me. If you date other women, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, don't tell me or lead me on to believe that it's serious with me and it's not. Or don't think that you're going to play me to do things for you or pretend you want a relationship with me and you have ulterior motives, right? What's the weather like in Texas? Me two times. It's hot here in Cali. I am burning up. And I actually have the oven on cooking some chicken, so I'm about to go turn that off. But it is hot. What's it like out there in Texas? And I'll try to remember that you're from Texas me two times because sometimes I forget. Sometimes I have to ask a few times. But yeah, those are all the reasons. Now, I would say this as well. Um, why I want to stop dating black men and step outside my race. Okay? And date men from with other backgrounds. The men that approach me from other backgrounds, they just come at me way more respectfully. What's up, Ryan and Enoch? Enoch, you're back for another go round. I'm still on dating, Enoch, but now I figured it out. I don't think I want to date black men anymore. I don't think I want to date black men. I'm sorry. I've had enough of the disrespect. I've had enough of the drama and the okey doke. Like at my age, I shouldn't have to weed through so many frogs. You understand, Enoch? Listen, so um, I'm dating. Everybody knows I'm dating. If you don't know now, you know I'm dating. And so the Latino men that have approached me, they are way more respectful. They'll say things like, um, let's let's get to know one another. Let's see where this goes. Whereas the black men are like, look, no, I need you to be my woman, or they want to lock you in, or they have expectations that they shouldn't have for someone, and you're just meeting them. Love is love, Ryan. Who cares what race they are and all of that? That sounds good, okay? And I'm not racist at all, and I wouldn't hold anything against the members of the opposite sex in my community. But for me, I'm feeling like I've been dedicated to black men my whole life. I've only ever dated black men. I was married to a black man. And now that I'm divorced and single, I'm finding that they're just not my cup of tea. I don't want it to be that way. If I could have it my way, I would eventually marry a black man again. But I don't know. I don't know if that's for my happiness and for my goals and the things I want. I don't know if I should just stay, loyal to the black men in my race. I love my people, but they have no respect for themselves, so they are not going to respect you. Not all, but a lot of them, right? And that's the point. Even when I worked at as a probation officer, right? The black males would be so disrespectful, and I don't know why that is. I think it has a lot to do with the decline of Christianity in the black community. Um, as far as the Latinos, we had a lot of Latinos in our care, um, working for probation, and uh, they are Catholics, and they hold fast to their beliefs, even though they may be criminals. They still hold fast to their beliefs, and um, Latino families tended to be more communal, meaning that the parents visited every week. The family was more united, at least by a parent's sake, right? And even if the Latino boys were mad at me, it was still miss. It was always miss. They could be mad and, you know, not like what I was saying to them, but they would always respect me. The black boys would call me the B word in a heartbeat. I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm glad you want to date outside your race. I don't want to, Ryan, but um, that wasn't my. I mean, I never wanted to. I just, people say, okay, I have my preference. This is what I'm attracted to, but I just, now I'm at the point where I want to date men who like me. You know what I'm saying? I want to date men who like me and who respect me and who are willing to put me on a pedestal and treat me like a queen, whoever that is. If it's a black man, if it's a white man, if it's a Latino man, I'm not going to be like, oh no, I'm not going to date you because you're this. Because I feel like if you do that, then you're taking a chance on not ever being happy in love. Latinos honor Mary over Jesus. I respect their thoughts. Love has no color. Um, that's true as far as their religion, as far as what I know about it, Enoch. I'm not Catholic, I am a Christian. And I guess, that would come into play as well. Um, if I date you, you definitely have to be Christian. So, and that's because of my belief system. I can't um, deny what I believe and say, well, you know what? I've been believing this all my life, but because I love you and I want to date you, this is what I'll believe in now. Um, my ex-husband, he said, I believe in God, and he would always tell me, pray for me, but he would say, I don't believe in the Bible. I believed in the Bible, and um, he would always want to debate me on religion. And if you're going to date somebody who doesn't believe the same thing you believe in, then that should never be the case. You should never have debates about religion. They should never try to change your mind, or they should never try to stop you from going to church. That means you're unequally yoked, right? A lot of people deny their beliefs to convert, Enoch. You have a lot of people who are who convert to Judaism. I think I'm saying it right, in order to marry someone Jewish. But most people who are Jewish, most of the time, they they like to stay within their own religion. They'll only marry Jewish people. Most people, most races of people will only date within their community, and that goes for Latinos, that goes for white people, that goes for especially people who are foreign to the United States, who come over into this, who immigrate to the United States. Most um, ethnicities, they want to marry people within their own community, which is fine. You want to marry people who you can relate to and who you can communicate with, who share the same types of beliefs and cultural practices that you do. Right, Ryan and Enoch. But, and however, black people, especially black men, would date outside of their race. I think black men are probably the only men, and I'm not talking about African men, because even African men, if they come from Nigeria, they want a Nigerian wife. Now, they might come over and play with black women, or other women, but for the most part, Africans want to marry Africans. That's across the board. So I think it's only black people who have found themselves kind of like in uncharted territory, because we don't really have, we're just now building as a community. In the 80s, which was what, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, um, black people were still living in abject poverty for the most part. Yes, we had some rich people. Yes, we had black people who were upwardly mobile and going to college. That, they were just starting to do that. But there was still a lot of poverty in black communities, a lot of prison sentences, a lot of drug use. So now that we get into the 2020s, we are better off than we have ever been, but we are still behind everybody else, even people who immigrate here. So I think that has a lot to do with why the black community is so fractured. Black people didn't come here for their, due to free will. Everybody else came here due to free will. Everybody else came here because they wanted to. Um, there were indentured servants and things like that, but even them, they were free after a while. They weren't slaves really like that. And if they were, Um, that didn't last too long. So I think that's another issue with black people, that we still have to overcome 400 years of slavery. And even though it's been hundreds of years since we've been in slavery, we still have that generational curse over us. There's a lot that comes with being with another race. You would catch a lot of flack for it. So, Enoch, and the reason why I came on here today to talk about this, because I actually have, I've actually started dating a Latino man, and he just approaches me way differently, way more respectful. The way he just even handles me is just way different, and you gotta you gotta be into that somewhat, because if you just say no, I don't want to date you, and you treat me well, I don't want to date you just because you're Latino. I think that's a little I think that's a little ignorant. You're happy for me? Thank you, Enoch. Every race of people were taught to hate us, but we weren't taught to hate. Well, it's not just that we weren't taught to hate, Enoch. It's more so um, we don't have any power. Racism is a power structure. It's a system, right? So when other people come over here, they're watching the news. They're seeing how blacks are treated. So they want to assimilate with the power structure. You're not going to come to America and want to assimilate with the people at the bottom of the barrel, right? Like, why would you come to America and say I want to be like black people, when black people are seen as oppressed, living in poverty, victims of racism? No, you want to assimilate and be like those in power as much as you can. So um, there's that. I've never, like I said, I never dated anybody outside of my race. I have dated a Nigerian man before, and that was different. And everybody, when I dated a Nigerian man, all the men that I knew as friends, they were like, no, please don't, please don't. They take advantage of black women. They don't really like black women. They hate black men. And the guy I was dating one day, he did say that he didn't. He said, no, I don't like black men because they don't take the opportunities that they were given, and um, they do this and do that. Like, he had a very negative outlook on black men. And of course, we didn't work out. Why do people worry about me with another race? They don't have to wake up to her. So what's the problem? You are dating somebody of an opposite of another race, Enoch? No, I don't. I think that, here's the thing with black women, because they are disregarded and disrespected more so than any other woman. They are told, constantly told and shown by with messages in the media, even from men from their own race, that they are not the preference because of their dark skin, because they don't have long hair, because they don't have certain features, right? They are black women who look like me specifically, who have brown skin, and you know what I'm saying? They are not shown as beautiful in, or as the preferred aesthetic in the media, on TV, even in with black men. So they feel like it's another dig at them when they see a black man with a woman of another race. And it's obviously you have the freedom to date who you want, and no one, especially a stranger who doesn't know you, should be concerned or worried about what you're doing anyway. They don't know you, right? But if I had sons, I have 5 daughters. If I had 5 sons, I would have raised them up to be upstanding members of the community, and I would have preferred that they date black women, because that's what everybody else does. That's what everybody else does. They want their children to marry a woman from their race. And they're not shy about saying it to their kids. Hey, don't you bring one of them home, whatever they call black people. They will say that. And I think that was one of the reasons why I chose to stay loyal to black men, because I know how much we as a people have against us. However, no matter how much I want to stay loyal to black men or how much I want to have relationships with men in my race, it's just not working out. Even if they do prefer me, even if they do want to date me, it's like, are you for real? Some of the things, and I've been saying this all weekend, and that's just because I'm just flabbergasted at the things that have been asked of me. Of course, I didn't do it. Of course, I wouldn't, and I'm very much willing to end those type of relationships. But it's like, why are you even asking that? And I know it's number one is because I don't know, they feel like they can, like they don't have to respect women. And number two is because women have allowed these types to do that, right? Like you allow a man to be in a committed relationship with you and cheat. You allow him to live on you and not work. You allow him to say, I want you to go 50-50. So that when a woman is getting to the point that women are willingly saying, no, I believe I want my own and it's hard out here and blah, blah, blah. A lot of black women are a trip. How can you ask for something you don't have? I have my own. I've always had my own, Enoch. And I think that the black women who are asking for that reciprocal type of relationship are the type of women that are educated, uh, homeowners. They are gainfully employed. They have careers. They keep themselves up. So how could they? Why should they not expect that from a man? And it seemed like those type of women that I just uh, spoke of, those women are being left out in the cold. They're going years without finding a mate. They may, if they do find a husband at 40, then they are not no longer in childbearing age. Because you'll find too in the black community that those type of women are often seen as being unfeminine or too independent. So it's like, whoa, the goalpost is constantly being moved for black women. Not all of them. Some are on Section 8 and on the system. So let's just keep it real. Now, yes, some women from all races are on the system, not just black women. That's like that black welfare queen myth that is often associated with black women. Most black women, Enoch, um, are goal oriented, and if they don't have their own businesses, if they're not college educated, if they don't have careers, they have their own businesses, right? Or they're working towards that. You have a lot of black women going into the nursing field, a lot of black women opening up businesses, doing hair, becoming entrepreneurs, selling clothes, making food, baking cakes. During the pandemic, do you know how many black women just just shot up and was doing the doggone thing because they were already in position? There were so many black women who were already caterers, uh, party planners, cooks, chefs who were already selling hair weave. So when all that money was flooding the streets, those black women were in position and ready to make that money and expand their businesses. Yes, you do have those women who are on Section 8. You do have those women who are baby mamas. And you do have those women um, who think because they look good, then they should be able to date a certain type of man. That is true. You do have them. I have 8 people in here with me, but I only have 4 likes. Can I please get you guys to hit the like button and come on out the bushes and say hi? What's up? Let your girl know where you are uh, watching me from, so I can say hi to you. That don't give you the right to dog your brother or belittle him just because you feel you need a better position. You can't knock a brother for doing the same to them. Oh, I'm not knocking the brother Enoch at all. Um, I'm actually saying that, listen, if I'm not your preference and if I can't get that respect as much as I want to still date men who are of my race, then I gotta go where I'm being treated well and where I'm best being served. Um, and like I said, it's not putting a brother down because you want him to elevate. Oh, you're just speaking not on me. You're right. You're right. Some women, I'm not going to say women are perfect. I don't ever want to put across that notion because women aren't perfect either. And they're, like I said, you're right. There are some black women who feel as though I want a man to take care of me and I want a man to buy me things. But I'm going to tell you like this, if I'm a young girl, all right, if I'm 20 years old and my body's right and I look good and I have different men wanting to date me and wanting to pursue me, then may the best one win. And how are you going to win? You're going to win by uh, showing me that that you want to take care of me. You think that white girls go through that? No, they're raised to go to college and find their husbands in college. And if they don't meet them in college, they'll find their husband in grad school. That's the way they're raised. They're raised not to get pregnant, and they're raised to have a man take care of them. When they're having babies, they're not rushing back to work. They're not doing that. And Latino men, they know if I if I want to have children, I need to be married. They're going to be married, and then they're going to raise their family, and they're going to stick together. Black men aren't being told, hey, don't sleep with this woman if you're not going to marry her. Don't have a child with this woman if you're not going to marry her. Nowadays, they're being told, you still believe in Jesus Christ? That's crazy. You still believe in religion? That's not even your religion. Who cares who religion it is? Get some morals and values about yourself because whatever religion they're talking about, they don't even know about that one. They know nothing about that one. They're talking about the ancestors and the universe, and marriage is archaic, and um, she got a big mouth, so no, I didn't stay with her. I went with another woman, and then I'm gonna make a baby with this woman. And women, he left me, so I'm gonna make a baby with this one. Hey, Smooth, how you doing? Hey, Cancer 66. I'm just in here running my mouth, guys. What's up, Ready Rocks? Rocks, listen, Rocks, I know you said you don't want to date anymore, but I think it's time you think outside the box, girlfriend. You got to start dating men outside of your race. Give them a try. Guys, hit my like button for me, please. So that's what I'm doing. Like I said, I have this Latino man on my bumper, and I'm gonna give him a shot. Like in the past, I wouldn't have even gave off the impression that you could even ask me for my number or that that would be cool to do. And I'm always aloof, right? I've had see how aloof I am to it. I forgot that when I was younger, it was a couple of Latinos that um, pursued me, but I wasn't even like I didn't even give that a second thought because I like black guys. All races got too many weirdos. I'm good. Roxy, how do you know that? Roxy, have you dated? Who have you dated out of your race to know that if that's true? A lot of the men they dog may be the man for them. Yeah, a lot of stay-at-home women mess around too. You know what, Enoch? You're not telling a story. They do. They're bored at home with the kids, and they're doing all kinds of things. Especially if you have a military wife and you're gone and you're stationed somewhere else, and you don't take your family with you, honey. That woman is probably having kids by somebody else and thinking about how she's going to divorce you and get your benefits. I'm just serious about it. how's it a fact, Roxy? Like, give an example. But why what, Enoch? Why do women do that? I know that because we see it every day in all races. I don't know. I only see what what's on TV or what I read in the newspapers. And yeah, there's weirdos all the way around. But I'm talking about the approach. The approach. I'm going to just be honest. A black man asking me when was I going to come spend the night versus a Latino man saying, hey, how can, we get to know one another and see where this goes, right? Like, come on now. And this is not just once in a blue moon. This is not just here and there. I get these kind of, it's like, what? Are you serious? That's why I've been on one these last couple of weeks with the dating situation because, I mean, I don't really care if it doesn't go anywhere. I'm really cool to just chill by myself. And I'm like, maybe I need to take a breather, right? Right, Enoch. I think maybe that's what I need to do. I gave it a go, I gave it a good shot, and it's not happening. Maybe I just need to calm down. But I don't want to. Sometimes I want to date. Sometimes I want to talk to adults other than and go out and get dressed and go have dinner. But I don't want the shenanigans that come with it. I lived in San Diego when I was really young and had friends with Navy husbands, and 80% of them had affairs. I believe you, Cancer 66. I told the story earlier, or I think it was today, I believe, that how I worked with, um, where I worked at, actually spent the night at work for like 2.5 days. And a lot of those women were cheating, not me, because I'm a good girl, but a lot of them were cheating with married people who were married. Sometimes women would call up to our job asking for a certain someone and saying if they didn't stop sleeping with their husband, they were going to come up there and do blah, blah, blah. It got crazy. And I just know how army wives are. They will cheat. If their man is deployed, honey, they're not sitting at home chilling, they're cheating. And the men are cheating too when they're deployed. So a lot of blacks are used to black women doing that, so that's why they ask when you coming over. Excuse you, Enoch, back for real, because you know what? First of all, you can read when a woman is that way, and that makes me feel like, what type of vibes am I throwing off? Because I know a guy when he's going to be, um, I know off top. I know off top. If I gave him my number, I can tell very fast. I can pick up where it's going to, and it won't. A lot of times, it don't go past a phone conversation. It's not going to go past us talking on the phone. I probably don't even give you my real number. I probably didn't even give you my name. I probably gave you a name, a nickname, or something like that. I probably didn't even give you my real name, my real number. I told you I live in another city than I really live in, because if I met you in public for the first time and I don't really know you, then I know 9 times out of 10 it's something, it's not a legit attraction because you don't know me. So I know you probably want only one thing. I'm old enough to know that, like, you're seeing what you can get out the situation. Let me see. It doesn't feel right to me anymore. It's too risky. I'm not willing to risk it. I'd rather miss out on a good one than risk meeting another weirdo. Even if I met a great one, I'm just not interested. You know what, Roxy? You just got to heal some more. Roxy, Roxy, you are too raw. You just got to heal some more, love, because you're going to get to that point where you're gonna want you a man. You're gonna want you a little piece of man to keep you warm. Um, I'm telling you, it's about to be cold. It's about to be cold, and you might want to meet somebody for coffee. I feel like with anything, you just have to take your time and get to know people. And when you see the red flags, identify them right on top and don't go past go with people. I feel like people only get played with when they enter the game. You can't play with me if I'm not playing the game with you. If I already know that you want one thing, or if I start, because I gotta vet you, I gotta give you my interview questions, right? If I start asking you where you work at and you can't give me a straight answer. If I'm asking you, are you married, and you telling me, oh, I'm in a loveless relationship, or if I'm hearing from you, oh, we're just together from the kids. Okay, those are red flags. You ask the questions. As a lot of times, women and men, you don't ask the questions. You're not asking, how long has it been since you've been single? When's the last time you and your husband were together? Don't you know, even if somebody divorces their spouse or their ex, they still could be getting it on. I know I was divorced, okay, and everything. My husband hated me, and we were still living together and still doing what we did. So, and we're divorced, right? So, you got to ask the questions like, did that person really move on? And not just, are they married? You got to really figure out, do these are these people still entangled? Um, you got to ask how you got to ask those different questions, and you got to see their responses. It was a guy I dated last year, and all I asked him was, oh wait, I didn't see you pull up. Where was you at? Because we were meeting somewhere, and I didn't see them, and they just started going up on me. I was like, oh no. I got out of there safely, but the whole time they had been cool on the phone, and we had been talking, and it was pretty much pretty cool. So I didn't expect them to do that. It was really disrespectful, and I couldn't believe I was in a situation like that, because I had never, ever been in a situation like that. Even if I met the perfect one, I'm not willing to do what it takes to please a man. Ooh, Roxy, I felt like that. And I still kind of feel like that. But that's why I say I only want a date. I don't want a relationship. I'm not looking to give up my peace of mind. I'm not looking to share um, my life with someone. Maybe we could spend some time together, but I'm not willing to share my life. That's something different for me. Sharing your life means that you guys may cohabitate, you may be married, or you're serious about one another. You don't date outside of that person. So I'm not willing to do that either, Roxy. I feel you on that. I said a lot I didn't say. Oh, just keeping it real. Okay, plus I didn't even say you. Okay. I felt this way since 2015. See, all these things you're talking about is so much energy just to hear a lie or get involved in a man drama. I agree, Roxy. Um, it's just I think you get kind of traumatized if you've been through a relationship where you were cheated on, or you were lied to, or that person wasn't upfront and honest with you. I think you just kind of get burnt out on that. And then if you're able to get out of that situation and find yourself and come to some sort of peace, then you don't want to give that up. You don't want to give your peace up, and you don't want to rush into something with someone else. Again, I said a lot, not all. Okay. And I'm not talking about all either, Enoch. I hear you. That makes sense. I'm feeling that part. Okay. It's okay to go to dinner, a movie, and I promise when you least expect it, God will bring the right one to you. I agree, Cancer 66. I feel like if you close your heart off to love, then the chances of you ever being in love again is probably minute. But Roxy says she doesn't want it anyway. Roxy, you're still very young. If you live into your 80s or 90s, that's a long time to be sitting on that thing. Uh, Amen on that. Right, of Enoch. I think that we should always have, because that's one of our hierarchy of needs, is to have an intimate relationship. We need that. We need our food, we need shelter, and we need love. We need that companionship. I feel like men were made to love women and vice versa. I feel like women were made to nurture children and to take care of a man, and I feel like men were made to protect and cherish a woman. Like he needs a reason to go out there and battle the world. He needs to know that his woman is at home waiting on him. She's going to be there to comfort him and to give him whatever he needs to get back out there and go slay the dragons again. If you are afraid to be hurt, you are afraid to be loved. Right, Enoch. And I think that I'm not afraid to be hurt because I feel like I'm a smart girl. Um, I feel like I may be a little bit overly cautious, but I think that's just a remnant of having gone through toxic love and dysfunctional love to now knowing that, okay, what I accepted in the past, I will not accept today. The red flags that I ignored in the past, and not just with my ex husband, with men I've dated in the past, and subsequent to him. I even had uh, a bad experience after him. And that was because I think I was moving too fast, trying to move on. And then um, the men that I got involved with, I knew that they weren't my cup of tea. I knew that they weren't for me, but I was just wanting to move move on from him. So now I've learned from even that, like it's better to just stay single if um, that person isn't what you are looking for. Being in a relationship or marriage requires it requires X. I don't want no parts of being touched. I don't mind conversation. Roxy, you're too funny with friends, events, etc., but not intimacy. Ooh, Roxy, you were hurt. You said, "Don't touch me. Keep your hands off of me." Um, I feel like I have to be in love to do that. I know that's old fashioned, but I really feel like that. And I feel like if you are in love, then that's just a natural part of a relationship, like you would want to. Even the best of them have fallen. Even the best of who, Enoch? I haven't been hurt since 2014. I never loved my second, but it was for survival and friendship only. Ooh, see? Survival and friendship. See, I hate to say it, Roxy, but you were using that person. You wasn't in it to for the long haul. That's probably why you didn't like them. That's why it didn't work, because you just was doing something to benefit you. You wasn't really in it to love them. The loyal ones take time to heal while the fake ones move to another one, right? Um, I don't know. I don't know about that, Enoch, because sometimes some women just want somebody to comfort them. I've seen that happen. Like some women, they are just so insecure, they are so badly bruised that they can't stand the thought of being alone. I hate those type of women. I really do. I hate those type of women because they end up failing their children, and they end up in relationships with men that harm them and harm their children because they refuse to take the time to get to know someone or to fully vet that person. If you just met someone, give them a text now number until you see what their intentions are, or until you really have a phone conversation with them. Don't let people pick you up from your house. Meet them somewhere public, because you don't, like Rossi said, there are unfortunately a lot of weirdos out there, and women have to protect themselves. I was willing to do it all in that marriage in spite of, but once I seen how reckless he was, I was done trying to. But did you really vet him? Did you really get to know him before marrying him? Did you really know who he was? Are you willing to take your part in that? That you said you didn't love him, so it probably didn't matter what he did, what it was gonna get to you, and where if you were operating out of need, as you say, perhaps you didn't really fully take the time to develop that connection with them and develop an interest in who they were. So you got blindsided, right? I think a lot of the times when we say, well, we didn't know or we never expected something, we just really didn't know because we didn't take the opportunity to get to know that person. Right, codependent. And Enoch, the reason why so many black women are codependent is because they have a lot of trauma from childhood. Um, and then women in general are constantly being told that no matter how educated they are, no matter how smart they are, no matter how beautiful they are, no matter how esteemed they are in their professions, if they don't have a man, then they're useless, they're worthless. Like if a man doesn't validate them, then they're nobody. I made videos in my story time about it. I knew him years ago and we reconnected and moved too fast the second time around. Yes, I mean, Rossi, I get it. I'm not gonna lie. I think I talked about during the pajama party that I cheated on. I cheated on my ex, and then finally I came to the conclusion that I wasn't gonna cheat on him anymore. And I think people ask me, "Well, why did you stop cheating on him?" I was like, "Just because I didn't want, to get caught up in some type of drama." But I was a lot younger than that guy, and I just started talking to him because, like you said, it was like I felt like I just wanted that validation from a man. I just wanted that support. I just wanted somebody there, but I never really cared about them like that. So, but after that, after him, I did say to myself, I was really young too, but after him, I said I would never ever be in a relationship with somebody I do not like. And it was hard for me to be in a relationship with him because I just didn't like him like that. And at the end, I finally did just, cut them loose. But they were still holding on like in vogue for the longest. But I was like, look, I'm dating other people now. Like I can't do it no more. I don't like you. I didn't tell them that, but I was showing that. But I did remain faithful for a few years before finally I was just like, you know what, this is enough. Ask away, Enoch. What's your question? Point blank, he was a liar. I was trusting my old friend like a dummy. Um, I know once he told that first lie and you kept going, you know, for what they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Hey, K Money, are you back? How you doing? I took full accountability for my part. You know, but don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself grace. I think sometimes when we are in dysfunctional relationships, we'll say to ourselves, well, I knew they were liars, or I let them lie to me, and we feel like we are undeserving of love. Honestly, I don't want to like keep beating that dead horse. You've already made your self clear, but who knows? Time will tell where you'll end up in your journey, Roxy. But um, and I had said that to myself at one point too. I said, maybe maybe God doesn't have somebody for me, right? Because some people say, oh, there's somebody for everybody, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's nobody for you. Sometimes you are meant to go it alone. And the more you go out there and try to date, the more you want to get married and get in a relationship with someone, the more you will get hurt and find yourself in impossible situations. Like some women never make it out alive because they're with the wrong man. If a woman keeps getting hurt over and over, whose fault is it? No, his or hers not knowing her worth. Definitely, a woman doesn't. I'll say this, Enoch. A woman doesn't deserve to be hurt because she doesn't know her worth. But if she doesn't know her worth and she accepts whatever, then that still doesn't mean that she is her fault, right? Because just think about a child. A child is vulnerable. And just because that child can't protect themselves, is it okay for an adult to beat them because they don't know that they can go tell a teacher, or because for whatever reason they don't tell and ask for help? Sometimes you have kidnapped victims that won't try to escape, or when the police come, they won't say who they are. You can't really say that because somebody doesn't know their worth. If you beat somebody down and they have been, if a woman has been abused or a woman has been mishandled all of her life, it could be from the men who were supposed to protect her, such as her father or older brothers or uncles. She may have been abused and wasn't really protected, or she may have had an abusive mother. So if she's already weakened as a youth and she becomes older, it's going to be easier to abuse that woman and to mistreat her, right? So that's not really her fault. I mean, but I will say this. I will say this. Um, some women, they go from one bad relationship to the next because, and I know women like that. I know women who they have several baby daddies. They have several failed relationships in their past, and it's like they're going from from bad to worse with every relationship, and it's like they're not getting it, and they have a hard time because they never got the counseling that they you had disagreed to agree. Okay, take a child, Enoch. Take a child and abuse that kid. What kind of adult do you think that child is going to be? You think that child is going to have high self-esteem? Do you think that child is going to know to love themselves? Or do you think that child is going to be broken, in need of repair and need of healing? A lot of people grow up with childhood trauma and they don't abuse others, but most of them abuse themselves in many ways. They overeat, they do drugs, they get in relationships that are toxic and abusive, um, they have eating disorders, they have mental illness such as anxiety and depression, and this is all because of how they were treated as kids. You can't expect an adult who has never been mistreated and who has been loved properly to respond the same way that someone who has been beaten down all of their life. Oh, I don't take it as disrespect, Enoch, at all. We're having a very deep back and forth conversation, and I hope you don't ever take my responses as disrespect, because I'm always going to have an opinion, and I can back my opinion up. I'm always gonna come back at you with something. But if you make sense, then I'm cool to say, you know what, I feel what you're saying, and I get you too. So as long as there's respect, it's never a problem with me to debate. As long as no one is in the comments being disrespectful or using profanity, we can debate all day. Every kid is different. A lot turn out good, but a lot of them do what you just said. Absolutely. It's like, I feel like when I was a youth, I got into trouble, right? I got into trouble and I came across the justice system. And by the time I was 17, I was in college and I had turned my life around. And I actually ended up I was on probation as a teenager and actually became a probation officer as an adult. But and I thought, okay, if you got in trouble and you went through probation, then you would turn your life around, right? I thought that most people were like that, but they're not. Like, I was far and few between. I was a rare breed. Most people, once they get into trouble as a kid, they become problematic adults, right? So if you're a kid is getting into trouble, is getting suspended from school. What they say, the pipeline from getting suspended from school to going to prison is a real thing, and that's why they are trying not to suspend kids at school anymore, because they feel like that makes them more likely to become criminals as adults. I feel like kids who aren't held accountable are more likely to become adults, but that's just me. I think at the very young age, my daughter, my oldest daughter, we would go to stores and she would pick up something that didn't belong to her. I would take my daughter right back into the store and give it to the give it to the store manager and make her apologize, because I didn't want my daughter growing up to be a thief. Having a difference of opinion is okay, just as long as we're respectful. Absolutely. I love when I have people come in the comments and who want to engage and who have opinions, because if I come over to your channel, I'm going to be in the comments talking my mess. And sometimes I try, especially if I'm there to support, I try not to say sometimes how I really feel, because I don't ever want to step on uh, one of my content creator friends' toes. So, but sometimes I'll be playful and I'll say a little something. But um, if I don't know you and I'm not there to support, uh, I'm there to partake in your content. I'm gonna be for real and upfront and honest. I'm gonna be upfront and honest anyway, but sometimes I will hold back. But on my channel, I don't have to hold back. I can say whatever I feel, and if people don't agree with it, they don't have to. I actually rather you didn't agree, because if you don't agree, you might be more likely to speak up. I don't like a yes man at all. Definitely defend yourself, Enoch. Go in, go in. Go in and let me know what time it is. Thank you guys for all tuning in. We're going over into the next hour. I just try to find engaging topics to keep you all interested and conversing in the chat. I still have a lot to do, guys. I want to come live with the video camera on, um, and do something like that. But I got a lot of content coming next week. I've been shopping this weekend. Not a lot, not like I usually do. I don't have any major hauls, but I really just wanted to get my back to school content out there. Content creators who are listening, if you are affiliate marketers, I hope you are doing back to school content. Even if you're not an affiliate marketer, if you are monetized or if you are not monetized right now, everybody is getting prepared to go back to school. So this is a money making month for you, August and September. And from this point on, from August on, this is your time to shine and really get content out there that's going to influence your audience to buy, right? And so you want to really know your audience so that you can give them content that will inspire them to stop by your storefronts or purchase whatever items you have as an affiliate marketer. You also want to give them the content that they want to see. Even if, like I said, you're not an affiliate marketer, even if you don't have anything to sell, you want to give your audience things that apply to them in this season as far as back to school content. It doesn't even have to be shopping content. It could just be getting ready to go back to school. It can be getting your schedule together, getting your kids ready for a successful school year. I did a back to school live and being successful um, during the 2025-26 school year. It doesn't have a lot of views yet, so please go watch it. But I feel like it will. I feel like once it gets in the algorithm, people will watch it more. And I'm also doing my weight loss journey, so I have an update. I've been talking about it, but I really did a detailed update on it, and I think I'll do that every month. Um, just letting you guys know about my failures, my successes, what's working and what's not, what I'm eating, the challenges that I'm faced with on this journey. So I'll be sharing all of that for those of you who want to keep up with my weight loss journey. Hey, keep pushing forward. Thanks for stopping by. How are you tonight? Good evening, Mommy Money Getter and Chat. Hope your evening is a blessed one. Yes, this is actually my second time on going live today. Um, Shoot, I guess I had a lot on my mind. Um, and I got my day started pretty early, so I had everything that I wanted to do done. The kids are all ready to go to school. I have one daughter who's in college, so she doesn't start school for another week. And but my high school daughter and my middle school daughter, they're starting tomorrow. So I need to make sure that I got to collect cell phones, especially from the middle schooler. Fathers, we love ourselves, kids, but there is nothing like the love from a mother, and it's unconditional, no matter what, right or wrong. Just another topic, right? That might be one of my topics too, because I wrote that today. I actually didn't just come up with it. I heard somebody else say it about uh, they were speaking to that they got their somebody's back, and I just thought about my kids. I actually wrote this on my Facebook post. I wrote, let me see. I actually wrote, I will never choose anyone over my kids ever, right or wrong. I'm Mama Bear, and I will always protect my cubs. Now, if they need correcting, trust that is always done. However, that is between me and them. I will never have my kids questioning my loyalty because it is always with them. And I can't stand a mother who chastises their kids in public. I feel like that's the ultimate form of disrespect. If you can't trust, or disloyalty, if you can't trust your mother, you can't trust nobody. If someone came to me and told me my kid did XYZ, I would say, thank you. And what happened? I would ask them all what happened, and I would get their feedback or whatever. And I'm like, okay, thanks for letting me know that. And then I'm going to close the door. And then I'm going to immediately start questioning my child, getting down to the bottom of it and seeing what's going on. But I'm not going to stand there at the door. What did you do? Well, they said you did this. No, I'm not on your side ever. That's my child. That's up to me to correct. My kid, it's up to me to love my kid and to make sure that they know the mistakes that they're making and how to not make that mistake moving forward. I'm not going to sit there and ever make somebody feel like, because adults lie. Adults lie. Adults lie so much. And sometimes adults will have it out for a kid. They don't like your kid. That's not their kid. Some adults want to see your kid get in trouble, especially if they feel like they got into it with their kid. They want you to beat your kid, or they want you to stomp your kid out, or curse your kid out. I'm not doing that. My kids have never really got into it with other kids, thank God. I mean, their mom has a big of enough mouth and gets into it with people enough. My kids are very like nonchalant. Like they're not really um, they don't fight. They don't get into thankfully they don't really get into it with other kids. And if a kid did have an offense with them, I know it's because that kid started it. Because my kid is not starting nothing with you, for the most part. They're not angels, but for the most part, they're not out being oppositional with people. They're just not that way. And again, maybe it's because they have a mother who will get out in the field, who will get out in the street and let you have it. So they're always like, Mom, please, please. So I just feel like parents and Enoch, like you said, I feel like mothers should always put their kids first and put their best interests first, even if it seems radical. Like sometimes you hear people say about black mamas, oh, my baby didn't do that, or he never did that. I'm not that type of mother. I get where they're coming from. I'm not that delusional mom that's going to be out there lying for my kid or saying, oh, they didn't do that and they did it. No, I'm going to correct my kid because I don't want my kid going to jail, and I don't want my kid getting hurt because they don't know how to respect other people. I don't want that for them at all. If you love your kid, you're going to correct your kid. But also, you are not going to just um, throw them to the wolves. But that is a good topic, um, Enoch. Yeah, I think some fathers are really and I love a father like that, Enoch. I think some fathers are very, very much um, they are very stable and they are very much there for their children. But it's a difference because they don't carry children, right? So I think it's kind of hard to find a man who would love a child as much as the mother does. I think I talked about that yesterday about when I had the child support live. Sometimes men will get with a woman and they'll be in love with that woman and they'll have a child with that woman. However, if they don't stay in the relationship with that woman, they'll move on. What do they say? Mama's babies, daddy's maybe. So you having a blessed day. Keep pushing forward. I know that's right. Me too. Right, grown-ups will lie like a rug, Enoch. It's sad the way some grown-ups will lie and make things up. Like you didn't even ask them for a lie, and here they come with a lie. That's why I can't stand a child who lies. I've always told my kids, like, if they tell me something happened at school, they get in the third degree. First of all, your mother is a Leo, so I'm coming with that background and experience. I'm gonna break you down like a 12 gauge. Now, what had happened? What happened at that school? And what did you say? And what did they say? And if it doesn't make sense, we're gonna keep going until it makes sense to me. And because I'm a lot older than my teenagers, and because I've been around the block and I'm experienced at life. I'm come from the school of life. I'm going to get down to the bottom of whatever it is that happened. And I'm going to correct them, and then we're going to get through that together. We're going to change that. But don't ever lie to me. Don't ever lie to me about nothing. For me, that's the worst thing you could do to me because the only thing I'm going to lie to you about is my money. And you shouldn't even ask me about my money. I might lie to you about who I slept with because you shouldn't be talking under my skirt. If it's not your business and it don't have nothing to do with you, like what's in my bank account, that don't have anything to do with anybody. What money I got, what's in my pocketbook, and what's under my skirt, that's nobody's business. So I'll tell you what I want to tell you because you shouldn't even ask. And as a matter of fact, I'm of the age right now where I'm going to say, why? Why are you asking me that? That's not none of your business. I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say, why? What difference does it make? What does it matter to you? I'm gonna come at you real foul because you shouldn't be asking me personal questions like that. And my money is very personal. You also shouldn't be asking me about my children. You should what would make you think you could ask me a personal question about my kid? None of your damn business. That's not. I don't care about your kid like that. Not saying that to be mean. For real, I got my own kids and my own family to worry about. I'm not ever that interested in what somebody else's kid is doing to where I'm going to just voluntarily ask. If they told me, oh, okay. Or if they want to share with me, if they're dealing with something, oh, okay. But I'm not going to ask you, oh, so how's your kid doing at school? Or are they making good grades? Or which college are they going to? I don't give a, I don't care. I'm trying to make sure my kid is ready for college and make sure my kids' grades are up to par. I don't got time to be asking you about what you got going on, about your man. I don't care. I don't care enough like that to ask people their business, and I'm always thrown for a loop when people ask me mine. Like, why do you care about what I got going on? How does that fit into the equation of you, right? I don't. I don't, at the time in the 1960s when we did something wrong, the neighbors checked us and we got it when we got home. right? Like, it was just so much abuse going on, and people say, "Oh, kids acted better." First of all, a lot of times in the black community, we were beating our kids because that was learned behavior from slavery. That's why we were doing it. And number two, we were doing it because we didn't want our kids to get lynched. We didn't want them to get in trouble outside of the home. So we did that, thinking that we were protecting them and thinking we were teaching them. But really, what we were doing was creating a bunch of trauma. That's why the 80s, the heroin epidemic and the crack epidemic was so vast in the black community. You had all these people that were hurting. You had so many people hurting because they were living in poverty, because they were suffering from abuse. You know, you have to really think about that. What would make you be on crack, right? What would make you turn to crack for solace? You had to be seriously broken to do that. And a lot of people were beat. Some people would tell, "Oh, I used to get beat so I was black and blue." What kind of love is that? Like, that you're beating your child to their black and blue. And then what happens? Those kids beat their kids because that's what they were taught. But I don't think it's ever a reason to beat a kid. Like, you take a whip to a horse or to a donkey. You don't do that to a child. And then people like to use the Bible and misinterpret that, spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, a rod was used to guide sheep. And the Bible also says, "My rod and my staff will comfort you." So how can a rod be used to beat somebody and comfort them and to guide them? Like, what does the Bible really mean when they say that? It says that if you don't instruct your kid, if you don't give them guidance, and that's why I say I'm always gonna. That's Bible. The Bible says, and I believe in the Bible for me to nurture my kids and educate them and steer them in the right direction. If I don't do that, then I'm sinning. So I'm always doing that. I'm always correcting my kids' behavior, and I'm always going to check my kid. I'm just not going to do it to somebody else's standards or what they feel is how I should be talking to my kid and what I should be doing with my kid. You don't love my kid. You didn't give birth to this kid. You're not on your hands and knees praying for this kid. You're not spending your last on this kid or hustling hard for this kid. You don't have a right to tell another mother or another parent anything about their kid. As long as that parent is, if that parent is negligent, if that parent is abusing that kid, or if that parent is failing that kid, then that's different. I think that everybody has a right to protect the kids. But as far as, "Oh, I feel like uh, you should have whooped your child," like people say, "Oh, you need to give that child a whooping." You shouldn't tell a parent to whip their kid. What if that parent takes it too far? You don't tell a parent that. If anything, "Hey, let's sit down and talk. What's going on? What's the problem?" If you can't do that, then be quiet. I think because of segregation, and also the neighbors used to look after each other. Right, but a lot of times, like I said, um, I don't know. I just didn't have a lot of good adults in my life. I had some. I think I spoke about that the other day. I did. I had my godmother, but she had her flaws too, but she was pretty cool. I had my teachers, but I saw a lot of things that happen with adults. You know, they just couldn't be trusted around kids. I know some adults, they'll laugh at kids and speak negatively about kids when they come around. I've seen adults do that. I'm like, "Hey, that's a kid. Oh, well, the kid shouldn't have got smart with me, or the kid should have been doing this and that." That is a kid. You're an adult and you're arguing with an 8 or 9 year old, a 12-year old, a 13-year old. Like, a kid that young don't even have no business in my face. I don't care if their parent is there or not. I'm not gonna say too much to you if you get to being disrespectful or disobedient. You just can't come to my house. Me and my kids, we're going one way, and you going home with your mom. And then you can't ask to come to my house because I don't allow disrespectful or disobedient kids to come to my house. But if I did allow a kid to come to my house, I'm going to treat that kid like it's my child. I'm going to make sure that kid is good and that kid is safe. That kid is going to eat. That kid don't have to feel like um, they're a burden, or they don't have to feel anything but that they can be a child. Like you're my kid too when you're over here. But some people are not like that. I'm gonna break them all the way down, Enoch, like a 12 gauge. I'm gonna break you down because one thing my kids are not gonna do is lie to me. I don't care who they lie to. You ain't gonna lie to me. You're not gonna lie to me because I'm gonna go to bat for you. I'm gonna stick my neck out for you and go down with you every time. So don't lie to me. Um, but like when my kids were little, when they were real little, Enoch, I pop their hand. Like if they try to touch the stove, I'd rather pop their hand, or if they try to run out in the street, I'd try to pop their butts. But I've never seen really a kid benefit from being whooped. I've never really seen it. I've seen kids become angry. I've seen kids become violent because of that when they got older. I've never seen a kid benefit from that. Or they just have a strong disdain for their parents once they become adults. I've never seen a kid really benefit from that. You know, my mom should say, "Oh, my mom and my stepfather, they always say, oh, ain't nothing wrong with a little straightening. Like, they need a little bit of straightening. I don't believe in that. Every kid has different things that work for them as punishment. You know, my my second daughter, I never had to really spank her. I don't think I ever spanked her ever. My third daughter, I knew she was gonna cut up at school because she came in this world cutting up. Kamaria, that's the one that just graduated. Oh, she used to cut up something terrible, and I already knew when she got to the schoolhouse. I already knew, and I told her, I said, "You better not get in trouble at that school." I already gave her a good talking to, and I would say probably the first and second grade. No, I want to say kindergarten. She did okay, but first grade, maybe first grade, second grade, she started trying to go to school and cut up. And the principal told me, he said, you could spank her, right? And I'm just looking at him like, man, if you don't go sit down, but she, they wanted to send her home, and I told her right in front of the principal, you don't get sent home. And I told him, we're going to find a way for Kamaria to stay at school. We're not going to be sending her home, and she's only in the first, or I think it was second grade. So one time, Kamaria went to school, and I told her, if you do another thing at that school, I'm going to spank you. So she came home, and I took her pants down, and I pop, 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 pop her on her butt real good. And after that time, Enoch, I don't think she ever got in trouble another time at school. She never got in trouble again at school. As a matter of fact, from that point forward, she stayed on the roll, and they would give me send home a little invitation for me to come to the assembly, and I'm like, you got honor roll, what? And then not only did she get honor roll, but she would get like the superintendent's honor roll. She would get a 4.0 from that point forward. So I guess you can say that word for her. But um, Kamaria, I love all my children the same, but Kamaria is a kid that's always talked to me the most, always kind of like was like right close to me, always. And I think that probably benefited her more. Like we talk a lot. Even right now, she's rebelled at some stages in life, and it really disappointed me because I felt like we were, like that wasn't where her head was. Like if anybody's gonna fool me, that's something that. If anybody's gonna fool you and pull the wool over your eyes, it's going to be your children. And my oldest daughter says, with you having 5 daughters, like you should know by now. I don't. I love my kids, and I think they're perfect angels. No, let me be serious. I just, when Kamaria rebelled some, I just didn't expect it. It was really unexpected, and it was hurtful because I'm like, girl, like, are you serious right now? But she gets it. I think she gets it now. I talk to her a lot, and I think what happened is she just had to bump her head and had to see what I was telling her and trying to explain to her was very much true. Where did everyone go in the chat? Well, much love. I'm going to bed. Have a good night, Enoch. Thanks for your engagement. Thanks for tuning in. I think I'm going to cut it right now, too. I've been on here for what, almost an hour and a half. So thank you guys for tuning in and staying engaged in the chat. If you're on a replay, like I told you earlier, please say hello so I can see that you came by and you listened to this live. Next week, I'll be going live with the video camera on. I'm gonna make it happen for us. I got uh, content already scheduled, so turn on your notification bell so you can uh, get that content when it's released. You guys have a beautiful rest of the evening. Get you some rest. We got a week ahead of us. I don't know if your kids are already back to school, but I know mine are. And when my kids are in school, it gets hectic. So who knows if how much content I'll be pumping out because I gotta be up early and I gotta make sure that my kids are A1. So thanks for tuning in. Much love. God bless.